So are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
So yesterday we discussed about the numericals related to the sliding contact bearing. So in sliding contact bearing, what you observe in every numerical problem, how much power loss, how much heat is going to generated, how much what are related to the friction. Due to the friction, there is some power, heat, everything is going to loss. So to overcome that, what we did, we supplied some artificial cooling, like some amount of oil we supplied, and after, because of supplying, what happening, whatever the remaining heat is there, that is going to taken off the outside. So like that we given the design. Now here coming to the rolling contact bearing. In sliding contact bearing, the action is going to take place sliding, so that's the reason the name is given as a sliding contact bearing. Now here rolling contact bearing. Rolling contact bearing is nothing but, as you see here, instead of sliding action between the contact surfaces means, here what are the surfaces here? Bearing surface and journal surface. So these two surfaces are going to contact with the help of balls or rollers. Instead of between them, one rolling action is going to exist here, such that the name is given as a rolling contact bearing. So if you observe in the previous sliding contact bearing, there is a loss of heat, loss of power due to the overcoming the frictional resistance between the contact surfaces, isn't it? So like that here not happening, because here balls or rollers are inserted between the two contact surfaces. So these balls are going to contact with the two surfaces either side. So you can see here, this is the one side, and the same manner the lower side also, this roller is having the lower side also one point. These two surfaces are going to contact with the inner and outer surfaces. So the reason what happening here, higher pair is existing here. Here higher pair is existing. So what is higher pair? Where you hear this name higher pair in kinematics of machinery, that pair, the terminology pairs, in that classification of the pairs, you hear this name, that is higher pair and lower pair, isn't it? So higher pair means where the point of contact or line of contact takes place between the surfaces. Okay, such type of pair is known as a higher pair. Here also, point of contact or line of contact, if it is ball, only point is going to touch the surfaces either side. In case roller, if you take, line of contact is going to take place. So here higher pair is existing. So that's the reason the friction is going to neglected here. Whatever the friction you observed in the sliding contact bearing, the total friction is going to eliminated here. So that's the reason the name is given here, bearing as a anti-frictional. Okay. Now what are the advantages if you compare with the sliding? Here, low starting and running friction except with very high speeds, and accuracy of the shaft alignment. So shaft alignment means the axis of the bearing and journal, both axes are going to maintain perfectly. That is the and as well as uh, shaft alignment means when we are using two different shaft, means we are using the shaft but both are not a uniform, both are not a same manner, means two half of portions we are inserting in the two different bearings. So that alignment, if you compare, that alignment is going to achieve here, and the low cost of maintenance because there is no friction here. So if there is no friction, no need of continuous supplying of the lubrication. Okay, and the small over the overall dimensions and reliability of the service, and easy of mount and erect, and cleanness. So these are all the very clean, no need of maintenance also. So this is the some basic theory about the rolling contact bearing. So before starting this one, I want to show some animation video related to this rolling contact bearing.
How do bearings work? Bearings are used to reduce the friction between two objects that are in linear or circular motion against each other. The first intuition came from Leonardo only in 1794 by Philip Vaughan. Jules Serret was able. This invention allows him to. In this video, history, the Paris-Rouen race. In this video, we will see how bearings work and which are the main bearing types. More than 10 years in the industry has led JAS to become the qualified partner for some of the most important mechanical engineering companies, providing any type of bearing from different manufacturers. Let's take a closer look at a classic ball bearing. By decomposing and sectioning it, its components can be analyzed. The first elements that immediately get our attention are the steel balls. They represent the rolling elements, and they are held together by a cage, which can come in different shapes, and it's made of low friction materials. Then we have the inner ring, usually the one that moves, and the outer ring, both with a groove, which can be more or less deep in order to make the rotary elements glide. It is very common for the bearing to also be shielded. The shield can be made of metal for dust protection, or it can be made of plastic, preventing liquid infiltrations. They are placed in specific locations between the two rings so that they can protect the balls and the cage from external agents. At the same time, they can retain oil or grease inside the bearing, keeping it lubricated for its entire life cycle. In order to work correctly, bearings need a certain radial and axial clearance, so that when they reach the working temperature, their thermal expansion won't lead to over-tightening, which would cause the bearings to wear, or in worst case, even a seizure. But the three main categories are radial bearings, angular contact bearings, and axial bearings. At the same time, rotary bearings can be divided into ball bearings or roller bearings. The three main categories just mentioned differ according to load direction. So, radial bearings are used to withstand forces which are perpendicular to the axis. Angular contact bearing are used to withstand both perpendicular and axial loads. And axial bearings are used to withstand axial forces. The rotary components of the rolling element bearings make the movement easier. They are balls, as shown before, but also rollers, placed between the fixed part and the moving part. Ball bearings are among the most used bearings. The radial ones can be classified as single roll bearings, the most common type, or double roll bearings, which can withstand high radial loads. Among the radial ball bearings, we also find the self-aligning bearings that have two rings of balls. This type has an inner grooves placed side by side, while the outer ring has only one hemispherical groove. This system allows the inclination of the two rings' axis during the functioning. There are also angular contact ball bearings that have either one or two rings of spheres. They typically have an oblique position respective to the axis of rotation of the load line passing through the contact points between the balls and the rings. They can withstand higher radial loads and axial forces. Finally, it could be noted that all these varieties have an axial configuration in order to withstand a mostly axial load. They are also called thrust bearings. Another major type of rotary bearings are the so-called roller bearings used when very high accuracy is required. They have the same categories, radial, angular contact, and axle bearings. But roller have different shapes depending on the type. This is another difference between these and ball bearings. Radial bearings with cylindrical rollers are the most common type. If they have small rollers, they are called needle roller bearings, and thanks to their compactness, they are used when space is limited. They can only withstand radial loads. There is another variety, spherical roller bearings, which have cask-shaped rollers in order to allow inclining the rotation axis of the two rings. Tapered roller bearings are an oblique version and are used in case of combined load. This type of bearings are generally used in pairs, and they usually have inverse taper. All of these varieties can also have axial configuration in order to mainly withstand an axial load. They are also called thrust bearings. There are many types of bearings. The most common ones are plain bearings, also called sliding bearings or slide bearings, are made of two different parts. They don't have rotary elements. In fact, they work thanks to a thin porous bronze foil, which is covered by a layer of Teflon. The foil is placed between two elements of the bearing. These bearings are built to withstand
So I think you got one clarification about how the bearings are working and how it is application. Now coming to the types of rolling contact bearing, just you have seen ball bearings and roller bearings. So if you use the balls based on the application, means if you use the ball bearing, if you use the element as a roller in between the contact surfaces, that is a roller bearing. So here the ball or roller bearing consists of an inner recess which is going to made on a mounted on the so here the ball or roller, this is the one roller, this is the ball. Okay, this ball or roller consists of a inner recess or inner surface. That inner surface is going to mounted on a shaft. So here the shaft is going to we are applying. So this is the axis of the shaft. Okay, so this is the shaft. Just wait. Okay, so the inner ring is going to mounted on a shaft and the outer ring is going to acting as a casing. In between these two, the balls or rollers are going to inserted here, and the number of balls or rollers are used here. Number of balls means as per the requirement we are going to insert in the number of balls or rollers based on the requirement, and these balls and rollers are held at a constant distance to avoid the contact between the so suppose these are balls, these are all going to maintain at a constant distance. So to maintain the constant distance, retainers, so here you can find the retainer. So retainer or holder here used to maintain these balls or rollers at a constant distance, means to avoid the contact between these balls or rollers. So retainer is used here, and retainers are going to use here. Now again, this application, coming to the application part, the ball bearings are going to use it, light load application, and for the roller bearing, heavy load application where we find there we can use the roller bearings. Okay. Now coming to the type of ball bearings, types of ball bearings, single row deep groove ball bearing. So by seeing the name only we can conclude one single row is there. Single row is there, as you have seen just now, that how the row is groove is created. Okay, single row, one deep groove is there. So I am drawing here. This is the inner ring and this is the for outer ring. Outer ring is acting as a casing and this is the mounting one. Now here single row, only one row ball is going to arranged. Single row is there, and that the groove is created with very deeply. Okay, in between them balls are going to inserted. So here these are used for heavy load carrying capacity. So this is the application for the heavy load carrying capacity. High load carrying capacity, and filling notch bearing. Filling notch bearing is the whatever the disadvantage is there in this previous single row deep groove ball bearing. So that disadvantage is going to overcome here, because both for the inner recess and outer recess the notch is created. So through these knots easily we can insert the number of balls. So here only limited balls are going to insert, it means limited application is there for inserting the ball. So here a number of balls we can increase, and easily whatever the ball is damaged, easily we can take outside. So that is the benefit of this one, and easily alignment means self alignment is going to possible with this filling notch bearing. Okay, and this is also applicable for the high load applications compared to the this one, the first one. Compared to the first one, the filling notch bearing is applicable for the high load application. And angular contact bearing. Angular contact bearing means the name is indicating angular. So whenever the shaft is going to deflect, means suppose this is the bearing, this is the bearing axis, okay, and this is a shaft. So whenever the shaft is going to deflect, so this is somewhat the axis of the shaft is going to deflected here. So this is going to adjusted with the help of this angular contact bearing. And double row ball bearing, double row is nothing but here single row deep groove. So nothing but we are creating the extra additional row of recess for the inner and outer rings. So that is nothing but double row ball bearings and self alignment bearing. So self alignment bearing is nothing but here maybe in the angular contact bearing this deflection is possible only for the one side. So here either side is going to possible. Here self aligning means in the both sides. See here the outer ring is having the one curve shaped manner, and the inner ring is having the two recesses here. So easily in both direction the self alignment means both in the both directions deflection, shaft deflection is going if shaft deflection is going to present in both direction, that is going to adjustable automatically with the help of self alignment bearing. So these all bearings basically made to light load application. Even though in light load whatever the maximum load is there, that maximum load is going to apply to the filling notch bearing. Okay. Now coming to the standard dimensions and designation of ball bearings. So here bearing is going to designated by a number. A bearing is going to designated by a number, as you can see here, 300, okay, and followed by the series. So series is here extra light, light, medium, heavy. These are all the series. Okay, so the last two digits. Suppose the bore diameter, if we got suppose 305. See here example 305. A number is given. So this is the bearing designation number 305. So what is the diameter for the this 305 series bearing? So for every time we have to multiply with the 5, and whatever the last two digits we will get the answer, multiply with the last two digits. So that gives the bore diameter for the this bearing. So see here, these are the principal dimensions for the ball bearing. So series is given. So bearing number is nothing but series 200, 300, 301, 201. So like that till 218, 318, 418. Okay. Now here bore diameter also is given. So here the series is nothing but by seeing the 200, by seeing here 200, easily we can conclude that the 200 is having the 10 mm diameter bore. Outside diameter this much 30, and inside the width of the bearing is 9. So like that the standard maintains standard is prepared already, and the 300 mm, the 300 series is their bearing series. For this also bore is the 10 mm, and the outside diameter is a 35, and width is a 11. Okay, so instead of remembering these all things, these all values, so what is the thing, just if we calculate the diameter, bore diameter, like the just now what I said, how we have to calculate the bore diameter. So like that, for calculating the bore diameter, in previous case what we get, 25 we get. So by seeing the 25, we can conclude that bore the bearing series we can select 205, 305, 405. Again, among these three, which one is suitable for our applied load, that we are going to discuss in the further problems. Okay, so this table is very important to select the series, bearing series, which bearing series we is suitable for the given problem. Okay, so this may be given in the may be provided in the examination as a data book. Otherwise you have to remember the some few values. So suppose see like this, 25 means these three values are there, 30 means these three values are there, 35 means these three values are there. Like that some few values you have to remember. Otherwise you have to ask to the invigilators or provide a data book. So through that only we can easily identify which series bearing is going to suitable for the given problem. Now coming to the type of roller bearings. So here particularly the application of the roller bearing is for the high load application. Okay, and even in the high load application there are four types, different four types of roller contact bearings. So here roller bearings, here among the four, the first one cylindrical is the used for high speed and high load application. Okay, so the previous ball bearings with the light load application is possible, but coming to the whenever you find the heavy speed and high load is there, so directly we can prefer the roller contact bearings. In that roller contact bearing, cylindrical bearing is the high speed and high load application is possible, means we can apply this one for these two situations. So cylindrical roller means, as the name indicating here, the roller shape is a cylindrical manner. So see here, you can find here the cylinder, the roller is in the shape of cylinder. Okay, and coming to the spherical roller. So spherical roller means, the name indicating here, the roller is having the spherical manner, and the inner ring and outer ring having the small grooves in the same manner of the roller. Okay, and with this deflections, whatever the shaft deflections are going to generate, that is going to overcome easily. And the needle bearing, so needle bearing is nothing but, instead of having the larger diameter of this roller, small diameter means the, so in this manner the rollers are going to use here. So needle, the name is indicating needle rollers. So these needle loaders are going to use, sir, small from my class में sir. Okay, and needle bearing. So because the name indicating here needle. So this needle bearing is used here. This one is also used for the high speed and high load application. But whenever you find the place is very less, so at these situations you can find the needle roller and the taper roller bearing. So taper roller, see here, so name indicating here taper roller. So the roller is in the form of taper. In the form of taper. So with this, axial and as well as radial load is going to possible, means we can apply the axial load and the radial load easily. Okay, so this is the types of bearings. Now static and equivalent load for the rolling contact bearings. So in designing, first of all, coming to definition, so whenever we apply the radial load separately, radial load means for the radial bearings we are applying the, whatever the load we are applying, that is going to subject to radial load. If you apply the load for the axial bearings, that is the axial load. So separately, if you apply this radial load and axial load, so which would cause the same effect on the total deformation of the bearing, same effect of bearing as like in happening in the total, means separately if we apply. So this is some bearing, separately we are applying the axial load and separately we are applying the radial load. So whatever the deformation we find, that deformation gives the same manner we applying the both at a time. Okay, so for this calculating this static equivalent load, the it is going to denoted by static equivalent load WR, denoted by WOR, equal X naught into WR plus Y naught into WA. Okay, now X naught means radial load factor. So X naught I am writing here. X naught means radial load factor and Y naught means axial load factor. Then WR is the radial load, WA is the axial load. Okay. Now another equation is there. This is the first equation to calculate the static equivalent load for the radial load bearing, and another one is the OR equal WR. This is another equation. So when we have to apply this equation, when you will not find the WA value in the question, so directly WR is the static load acting on the radial ball bearing. Okay, if there is a two types of loads are there, so at these situations we need to select this equation and to calculate the WOR value. Okay, now here to select this X naught and Y naught, we require this table. To select the X naught and Y value, X naught and Y naught value, we require this table, and based on the type of bearing and means in the angular contact bearing, what is the alpha here? Okay, how much the alpha is there, based on these values we are going to select the X naught value and Y naught value. single row, double row bearing. Okay, so this table is very important for the solving the this WR value when we given the WA. Means WR is anyhow given in the question, but WA separately gives. So this equation we are going to select, and while solving this type of equation, this X0 and Y0 radial load factor, axial load factors are necessary. So these values are going to taken from this table. So radial contact groove bearing, self alignment ball bearing, such type of statement if you find in the question. So based on that, sub again single row. So this self aligning single row is there. So this one is going to select. If it is double row, this one is going to select. Okay. Now life of bearing. See here, in a sliding contact bearing, we discuss about the always how much power is going to wasted. Chance of wastage of power, because here friction is overcoming. So after overcoming the friction, what is the next question? How long it is going to work? That is the life of bearing. Okay. So here life of bearing is nothing but individually ball bearing or roller bearing. If we take the number of revolutions or number of working hours or number of times it is operated. Number of revolutions, first point. Second one is the number of hours. The third one, number of operated. All are same meaning, like a synonyms. Okay. So at a given speed for which the bearing runs before it is going to fail, means it is going to fail means it is going to subject to fatigue failure. Okay. So suppose for example, this is the first day of the month, second day, third day, fourth, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, dash, 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 30. This is the total month. Okay. So separately one ball bearing, individual ball bearing or roller bearing if you select. So it is continuously rotating. You are allowing to operate continuously, means allowing operating means operating working hours and number of revolutions. All are same meaning Bob. Okay. So before it is going to attempting the fatigue, suppose in the first day it is worked, second day it is going to work, third day it is going to work, because of we are continuously making it into working condition. So at a certain time it is going to subject you to fatigue failure. Here it is going to subject you to fatigue failure. Whatever the days we find previous these days is referred as a life of the that particular used bearing. Okay. So the number of revolutions are working hours are operating, number of time operating for a given speed which the bearing runs before the fatigue, first evidence of the fatigue failure of the bearing. Means if you find the particular in the 8th day it is going to subject into the fatigue failure. So the life of the bearing, that particular bearing, is 7 days. Like now, second one is the rating life. The first one is the life of the bearing. Second one is the rating life. Rating life is nothing but here we perform the single individual bearing. Okay. Now suppose if we take the some group of ball bearings or roller bearings, some group of suppose 100 ball bearings or roller bearings we selected. Okay. And we allowed to work for 1 month. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, dash, 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 up to 30. So just I am considering 1 month only, Babu. Okay. So these 100 ball bearings or roller bearings I am allowed to working. So working here, we can expect the in operating number of times it is operated, or working hours, or number of time revolution at a given speed. Okay, or given speed or stated speed. So here 100 bearings we are allowed to operate. So one day the all bearings are operated without failure. Okay, second day same, third day same. Finally, at a particular eighth day, consider eighth day, only two bearings are going to subjected to the fatigue failure. Even though we allowed, again allowed, we are allowing at particularly 15th day, 10 bearings are going to subjected to the fatigue failure. Okay, so we have to start up to here. And if you count the number of days from the first day to the 10th day, sorry, 14th day, okay, on the 15th day, 10 bearings are going to subject to fatigue failure, and whatever the one will give the what is that rating life of the bearing for that particular 100 bearings. So 100, sorry, not 100. So if we subtract the 90 bearings, it means the number of revolutions or working hours for the given constant speed, that 90% of the group of the bearing will complete or exceeded before the first evidence of the fatigue develops. That is, only 10% of the ball bearing or roller bearings going to subjected to the fatigue failure. So this 90% is will give the rating life for that particular group. Okay, so sometimes this rating life is also called as a minimum life of the bearing. Minimum life of the bearing. Okay, now the rating life is having the relation. The rating life is having the 5 times the life of the bearing. This is the relation, rating life and life of bearing. It means rating for the group bearings and life of the bearing for the individual bearing. Okay, now coming to the so here 90%, even continuously we are here 15th day, 10 bearings are going to subjected to the fatigue failure. Now even though how many bearings are left out, 90 bearings are going to left out, even though we are allowing continuously to working, operating. So what happening here, on the day, particular one day, like next month of the 15th day, next month of the 15th day, only 50 bearings are going to under safe condition, and other 50 bearings are going to subject to the fatigue failure. Okay, so the remaining whatever the bearings are there till the next month 14th, from the here to the first month to the next month of the 14th day, that total time is considered as a average life of the 50% of the bearings. For this 50% of the bearing, that whatever the life we find from the beginning to here, that is called as a average life. Okay, now the relation between the average life of the bearing and rating life of the bearing is 4 times of the rating life of the bearing. Okay, so these relations we need to remember. Average, the relation between the average life of the bearing and rating life of the bearing is 4 times of the rating life of the bearing. Okay, and another one is the rating life and life of the bearing 5 times. Now even here 50 bearings are there. Again you are continuously allowing to operate the bearings till some particular day. Finally you will remain the only 8 bearings, suppose. Okay, so for these 8 bearings, whatever the days from the beginning to till the reaching the last day, whatever the only remaining 8 bearings are under safe condition, the days or time here considered from the beginning to the till this date, that is treated as a maximum life of the bearing for this 8 whatever the remaining. Okay, so first here life of the bearing is nothing but whatever the bearings are there, single bearing. I'm already here single. Listen carefully. Single bearing is there. Single bearing or roller or ball bearing. So for the single and roller bearing, uh, fatigue is going to achieve that particular day. Okay. So before whatever the days are worked, that will give the life of the bearing. And for a group of ball bearings or roller bearings, so at a particular day 10 number of items are going to subjected to the fatigue failure. 10 is mandatory, babu. 10 bearings are subjected to the fatigue failure. Now if we subtract the in 100, 10 means only 90 bearings are there. So whatever the days it worked from the beginning to the till the 10 bearings are subjected to the failure. So that 90 bearing, for that 90 bearings, the life is considered as a rating life. And if you are allowed to only 50% of bearing is going to give the satisfactory results, means working under safe condition, and the other remaining 50 is going to fails. So that particular days for the 50 remaining bearings are called as a average life. And at a particular day only few, means not more than 10. So few means I am considering here as a 8. So for this 8 number of bearings, the whatever the days are there, timing, days or hours or number of revolutions are there, that is called as a maximum life of the bearing for this 8. Okay. And applications, see here in the table you can find based on the application we are selecting, means so for this application means machine used for the short period and intermittently, and whose breakdown would have the serious consequences, example hand tools. So such type of application you required at this time, what type of life is required for the bearing? So the life is 4000 hours to 8000 hours. It means this statement is going to give in the question. You have to select from this table what type of life, means life of bearing is how much. So this is a 4000 to 8000, means you can select the 4000, 4500, 5000, 6000, 6500 till 8000 based on the statement. So see here another one, machinery working for 24 hours per day. Example like separators, compressors, pump, um, main host, and naval vessels. So at these situations, the life of the bearing is a 40,000 to 60,000. The interval is given. So this interval you can select the 40,000 or middle of this value, or 60,000 we can select. So it means based on the statement we are going to selecting the bearing life here. Okay. And the relation, one more thing, relation is very important. Rating life of the bearing 5 times the life of the bearing, and average life of the bearing is 4 times the rating life of the bearing. And this rating life is also referred as a called as a minimum life of the bearing. And dynamic equivalent load. So dynamic equivalent load. So it is also same as in previous static equivalent load what we calculated. In that manner only here also dynamic equivalent load we have to calculate. So dynamic equivalent load is defined as nothing but the at a constant stationary radial load in case of radial ball bearings or radial roller bearings. Otherwise thrust ball bearings are for which if we apply the total load which rotating inner ring and stationary outer ring, that would give the same life as that which the bearing will attain under the actual load condition. Okay, now for this the equation I am writing here, W equal W equal X into V WR plus Y into WA. Okay, and where V is called velocity factor R. It is also called as a rotation factor. Okay, now this V value is 1 for the all types of bearings, and inner recess is inner ring is going to rotating the condition. The V value we have to select 1 for all types of bearings, and inner rotating, and the V equal to 1 again for self-aligning bearing, bearings when the inner recess or inner ring is stationary. So here and particularly self-aligning is given, so it means the statement, you can find this statement whatever I am writing in the question. Okay, so all type of bearings irrespective of the self-aligning, taper, deep groove, double row, so these are all things are there. So irrespective of this one, we can select the one, and always these all bearings are, for these all bearings always the inner ring should be rotating. Okay, and even such type of situation means self-aligning bearing is there and the inner ring is a stationary position. So at this time we can select the 1, and V is equal to 1.2. V is equal to 1.2 for all type of bearing except self-aligning when the inner recess is stationary. Bearing except self-aligning bearing when inner recess or inner ring is stationary. So particularly this, remember Babu, these rolling contact bearings are somewhat complicated. Okay, as we compare with the sliding contact bearing, these are the rolling contact bearings are the somewhat complicated is there. all terminology, whatever is there in previously what in a static load application, sorry, static load equation and in dynamic load equation, all equation along the equations we need to remember these statements. Okay, and here one more thing I want to show. See here, this table for here to select the radial load factor, axial load factor. So to select this radial load and axial load, this table is going to help here. The previous table is different, this one is different. The previous table is for the static equivalent load condition. This table is particularly for dynamic equivalent load application. Okay, so see here how to select the values. Here solving the answer is not difficult, but the selecting the correct values are very important. See here how much simple equation is there. W equal x v w r y into w a. Simple equation is there. But the thing is selecting these x and y values are the important here. Okay, so based on the question statement, whether it is a deep groove ball bearing, angular contact bearing, self-aligning bearing, spherical roller bearing, and lengthy table is there. I have taken only half part. Taper roller bearing, whatever the bearings are there, list is given. Okay, so first this is the WA based on this one. So see here, after first we have to see the what type of bearing is given. Suppose example deep groove ball bearing is given. Okay, so deep groove means this all values we can select, this one or this one, this one or this all values, and these all values. Again your question is which we have to select, sir? It means by the ratio naught, the ratio WA by C naught, we are going to select the values. Means if we calculate the WA is given in the question and C naught is the axial load factor. So WA by C naught, if you select if you got the answer as a this is the one. Okay, so at this time you can select as a x value 1 and a y value as a 0. Okay, and for the one more condition is there. Here again between this one and this one or this one or this one your question will rise. So after getting this value, again we need to check this condition. So the E values is already given here. E values are given here already, 0.22, 0.24, 0.27, 0.31, 0.37, 0.44. So first we have to calculate WA by WR ratio. If our calculated value is less than E, so this table, this column we need to select X and Y. If we get the greater than E value, then we have to select this column, means this column XY value. Okay, so after both in both manner at a time, means we need to calculate this one separately and we need to calculate separate this. After getting these two values, so suppose this is the one we are getting the greater than E. So greater than E means this column we are going to select. Now after getting this one, again we need to calculate WA by C naught. Suppose if we get this value, so the values for the X value is a 0.56 and 1.4. X value is a 0.56, Y value as a 1.4. Okay. So for this kind of problems, data book is very important because we can remember the all equations, but it is impossible to remember the all such type of values. So you can see in the dynamic load, in the here also you can find the number of working hours. here number of the values are there, so it is difficult to remember the all values. So better while you are writing the exam, you ask the invigilator to provide the data book. Okay,